following the footsteps with my eyes. And then when it got to the part where it was carpeted, I didn't hear the footsteps anymore.
Oh no. Hi guys, welcome back to Quest into the Unknown. We're here at Mount Charleston and we just wanted to share some spooky campfire stories with you. Maybe not so much spooky.
Yeah, not so much spooky, but we're going to kind of recap some of the stuff that we've done so far this year and maybe share some situations that have happened to us in the past.
Yeah.
That might be on the, I'm not sure side. To
me, it's the ghost side. But then again, this is Quest into the. We can't say anything's for sure.
yeah, exactly. It's unknown.
It's unknown.
What happened.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll start. Yeah.
Okay.
So so this year so far we went to Jerome, Arizona, which would have been our last episode.
Yep.
And then we also went to the Pioneer Saloon, which would have been technically our first ghost hunting episode.
Yeah.
And I would say out of the two, the Pioneer Saloon was my favorite. It was just spooky and fascinating, and like you could really feel the energy while you were out there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there was the one place that we went into, the ice house, or what he called it?
Oh, the one with where the old man lived?
Yeah.
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 That place was creepy.
Yeah. When we went out there, I was like, it's really thick in here. Not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe it. It's really thick.
Yeah. Like there was a lot of something that wasn't us in there.
Right.
So, and if you haven't checked that video out, make sure that you do.
Yes.
Which one was your favorite?
I'd have to say that the Pioneer Saloon was my favorite too. Although Jerome was fun, it was an adventure.
It was.
It was more like a history tour and not so much the thickness, creepiness that I was kind of looking for when it comes to the unknown. The Pioneer Saloon, on the other hand, I mean, the stories were creepy stories.
Yeah.
And going into those abandoned houses and stuff, it was really, it was creepy.
I think that's what I missed in the Jerome tour. And here's the thing, I love history though.
Yeah.
Like the history fascinates me because I feel like in the history is where you get the creepiness and the spookiness, because it's like, oh man, this happened here.
Yeah.
But I think I would have liked to have gone into more like abandoned buildings. But Jerome, not to say that this Pioneer Saloon wasn't inhabited, because it was. But in Jerome, there was just a lot more activity going on around us. So I think that took away the creepiness factor of it.
Yeah, I think they were having a Halloween party.
Yeah.
The day that we were there. So,
yeah.
Of course, it's people walking around dressed up and stuff. So you might think you're being creeped out by something, but it's just somebody in a costume.
Right.
Or, I mean, it's just people drinking and laughing and getting in all the shots.
Yeah. But it was still fun, and there were some things, and if you didn't notice, like in the Jerome one, there was a portion where the curtain was blowing by itself, and it was not windy, so that was a little creepy.
No wind.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that when I was filming that, it didn't even dawn on me what was actually happening until we went back to edit it. Mm-hmm. Then I was like, oh man, that curtain's blowing by itself, and it's the only one, and there's 4 different ones sitting there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
we were both sitting there looking at the camera, or looking at the footage.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa. Did you see that?
It was so
it
great.
It just moved.
Yeah, it was just like, oh my goodness, like what's going on? It wasn't windy, and it, because if it was, then all of them would be moving, but just that one.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy that I actually caught that on camera. So yeah.
So to my favorite part, do you have any spooky ghost stories to tell, or Christmassy if it's Christmassy?
I don't have any Christmassy stories, but I do have a couple of situations that happened to me which were crazy. The one that sticks in my mind forever is I was coming home. There was no one home. I was the only one at home, and my friends had dropped me off. This is when I lived in Texas, and we lived in an older house that went back to, I think, at least the 60s. And I mean, throughout the time that we lived there were little things that we found around the house that were kind of like, well, that's creepy. Like, my dad had a deadbolt on his door to his master bedroom, which he was like, I wonder why that's there. It seems like you're trying to keep something out, but what would you be keeping out? And then we found out that the guy who lived there, his wife had passed away in the second master bedroom, which was the one that my sister and I shared. And so we're like, well, maybe the wife, possibly, because I'm assuming that she was sick. We found like her old prescription on the inside of one of the cabinets, and it was weird. But this situation, I came home, and to kind of set the scene, the house is fully carpeted except for in the kitchen, and then we have those really old alarms where once it starts going off, it doesn't stop until you manually turn it off. And that's important for the story.
Okay.
So I came home, and like I said, I was the only one there, and I went into the kitchen because I was like, well, there's dishes in the sink, let me start washing dishes. So I started doing that, and then all of a sudden I started hearing footsteps like going over the kitchen, and it sounded like someone was walking on the tile floors.
Oh my god.
And then but I was hearing it on the ceiling, so I was looking up, and I was kind of following the footsteps with my eyes. And then when it got to the part where it was carpeted, I didn't hear the footsteps anymore.
Oh no.
And then like 5 seconds later, one of the alarms in the back bedroom started blaring. Like, it was like, brr, 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 you know? And then it went off like 3 seconds later, like it was shut off 3 seconds later. And we didn't have those type of alarms at that time. And so after that, I was like, oh, nope. So I went into the living room because I couldn't really go anywhere. And I called one of my best friends, and I was like, you need to talk to me until somebody gets home. I was like, because I'm not about this. I'm not about it. You know? So that's one of my favorite ones that happened that I will always remember because it was crazy. What about you? Did you have anything?
So my story is nothing like that. I wasn't following footsteps with my eyes. Like, that's really creepy.
It is creepy.
Like, I almost feel like they could have been on the ceiling or something.
Yeah. They could have, looking at me like.
But once they got to the carpet and it disappeared, dude,
yeah.
like, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I probably would have pooped myself.
Well, I didn't. I was creeped out, but I was just like, okay, somebody needs to talk to me until somebody gets home.
Yeah, I'm kind of creeped out being in the middle of the woods now. Like,
yeah.
like, I don't know. Well, mine wasn't as creepy. There was one where I lived at my grandma's house. This was my first experience with something unknown and unusual, which kind of opened my eyes to things. It was early in the morning, and I had to go downstairs to print a paper for class because I was in college. So, I mean, it's bright, and I just ran down the stairs like normal. And as soon as I hit that corner to turn the corner to go into the computer room, there was somebody there, but they like darted into the bathroom. The bathroom is like between the computer room and the stairs.
Yeah.
So as soon as I hit that corner and I turned left, I saw something. It looked like it could have been a person. It was tall, whatever it was, ran in the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm looking like, like maybe grandma had a friend over, right, and he doesn't have clothes on. I'm like, I don't know what. So I start creeping past the bathroom, and there's no windows in the bathroom, so you can't see inside.
Wow.
And so I'm like creeping past the bathroom, looking in there, and it's pitch black.
Oh,
and I just ran across really fast into the computer room, but I never took my eyes off the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whatever. And I just ran in the bathroom, turned the light on. There was nothing. There was no one, and I was so freaked out. And it's not like it was nighttime and, you know, it's creepy. It was early in the morning, the middle of the day, and and I saw something run in the back. Like, I was really freaked out. Okay, so here's the kicker. So after class, I went over to my parents' house, and me and my dad, we were in the garage. And I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, the weirdest thing happened this morning. Like, I saw something run in the bathroom, but there was nothing there. And then he was like, oh, it was probably that man that died in that house.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, What man that died in what house? What are you talking about?
I was like, how do people conveniently leave these things out?
He was like, oh yeah, a man died in grandma's house. You should ask her. She knew who he was.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, what? I was like, she never told me that. He was like, yeah, because you wouldn't have moved in if she told you somebody died there. So here I am, storming home. And I'm like, Grandma! A man died in this house. And she's like, yeah, but I wouldn't want to tell you that because you wouldn't want to live here with me. And I was like, well, duh. I wouldn't want to live here knowing somebody died here. And then I told her what happened, and she's like, yeah, that's weird. She said she had some experiences before I lived there.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, well, he can't come in my room.
You are banned.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's my creepy story. Like my great grandma, before she passed, she used to tell me, I think I get my fascination with ghosts and stuff from her, but she used to tell me these stories about the poltergeist she had, and that was one of the things. Glasses would come up off the counter and break in the air. Or she would walk in and all the drawers and cabinets, everything would be open. And she would tell me these stories. And she told me the one thing you do not do is mess with a Ouija board. And I never mess with a Ouija board. I was like, she said don't do it. And she's had experience with all that stuff. I won't do it. I refuse.
Well, I would feel like that's common sense. Like, you don't want to be opening up portals to places you don't know.
Yeah.
I believe that there are spirits that walk among us. And I feel like that's different than physically opening up a portal and being like, hey, things out there that I don't know.
Like the non-human spirit type things, entities or whatever.
Because when you're messing with the Ouija board, like, you don't know what you're getting. As opposed to being like, okay, let's, like the little spirit box and the electric meter thing. Like, I feel like there's a level of distance that you have from the entities as opposed to being like, use my energy to come speak to me through this board, and now you're giving up your energy for someone else or for something else
to help guide you and pick the, oh no.
Yeah, I'm not about that life.
Don't mess with that.
Yeah. But that was interesting. Like, if you guys have any stories, those stories that you've ever had, let us know in the comments, and let us know which ghost hunting experience you liked out of the two that we've done so far. We have so much more coming. Yeah,
and if you have recommendations, those are gladly appreciated.
Yeah, we have some ideas for 2020, but if you guys can think of anything specifically here around the Nevada, maybe California, Arizona, Utah area. There will come a point in time when we'll probably go outside of this area. But right now, there's so much to explore here. If you have any ideas here, let us know.
Yeah, and it doesn't just have to be ghosts either. It could be anything unknown.
Yes.
Bigfoot. I want to go look for Bigfoot or UFOs. It's going to be so much fun. Samia's going to have the most fun. Okay.
That's what she thinks. And then I think in 2020 we might want to look into, also looking into different areas of unknown outside of ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs.
I want to go to Oregon and look for Bigfoot. I really, really do.
Well, that could be something in the future, I guess we'll say. But just know that we have quite a bit planned for 2020 with this show and all of our others, and we are so happy that you guys have stuck with us so far. This is just the beginning, and we look forward to building and growing and experiencing all the crazy unknown things out there with you guys. So we love you, and we will see you in 2020. Cheers. Bye, guys.